Good morning. It is my very, very great honor to host the 2018 AREI-AREDAY Summit for this first session. Today, our first topic is going to be on Earth's life support systems and the challenges they face in reclaiming those, recovering and reclaiming our. But before we get into that, it is my honor to introduce the Reverend who will lead us in prayer and spiritual community. The Reverend Dr. Gerald Durley marched with Martin Luther King Jr., and he has directly witnessed the hand of the divine in the course of transformational change. Please. Oh. Gerald Durley. My apologies, sir.
It doesn't matter as long as you don't call me late for dinner.
Thank you.
Good morning. Isn't this a grand and glorious morning? A day that none of us has ever seen before. There are two ways to tell time in the Greek. Chronos, which means there are so many minutes in an hour, so many seconds in a minute. And we say we would start here today chronologically. And when I came, I've got buttons in front of me that says chronologically you will move at this time. But there's another word that we all need to be empowered with. That's kairos, K-A-I-R-O-S, which means that there are no minutes, no time. It is divinely inspired that we should be here at this moment. There are no accidents, as Sally said earlier, when all of us begin to come together to understand that scientists and conservationists and educators, business people and politicians can understand the power of understanding what we must do, but it all rests on a faith foundation. You didn't get up this morning on your own power. I think back when we, Jesse and John Lewis and Andy and Martin and all of us marched, we would come together, but there was always another power greater than us. But the power comes from a belief system. So I thank you this morning for allowing me to come. And I believe this, in a kairos moment, that we've all been called to this beautiful, pristine environment, a gathering of this nature to seek solutions, which will be provided by us by an almighty God. None of us created the air we breathe. None of us created the water we drink. None of us really created the food which we eat. We are mere temporary inhabitants. We were here for a temporary time with an awesome responsibility to care about an earth that was perfectly balanced, ecologically balanced. But because we began to put profits over people, we began to lose our perspective. I believe conferences like AREI-AREDAY can come together where we begin to put our egos on the altar and crush them and get rid of the mental silos that keep us apart, to understand that it's all connected. We're all living, when we talk about the civil rights movement, and I say now that the real essence of the climate change, global warming, environmental justice movement is intricately involved with the civil rights movement that we did in 59 and 60, because everyone has a constitutional right and a civil right to clean air, toxic-free water, to clean air and food that is labeled GMO. I want to know what a GMO is. I know it's not a car, so they said it's genetically modified organisms. When I go to Miami and I see they call it ground zero now and the water is coming up through the sewage. When I look now, everybody should have the right to vote, whether you want fracking in your neighborhood or not. How do we come together? I'm sick and tired of going to conferences where we talk about what we know that we talk about what we know that we're talking about. Every now and then, there's got to be those of you who are assembled here today, the experts, those that believe in something greater than themselves, those that realize that this is a kairos moment, those that realize I will listen to the scientists, the oceanographic people, and we will come together and we will make a difference. That's what the climate movement is all about, making a difference. And in the faith community, it's unfortunate that so many times, and I was so proud to hear Sally say it, so many times we think that we are in control of everything. We think we can go to a doctor, they can give us a pill, and we can get up and run. We think we can get a new hip and we feel fine. But every now and then we've got to understand that there's a source and a force bigger than all of us. And if we're to make a dent and make a change in the climate change movement, we've got to know how to stop, take a breath, look around. As we come to a place like this, we come to listen, learn, and leave. Listen to what's being said. learn what is being articulated, and then leave to make a difference. It is not an opportunity where we come and shake hands and get another speaking engagement, where we come and talk about what we've just come up with, a new entrepreneurial spirit. But what we've got to understand is that there is a force greater. All the faiths realize this. So interesting when I thought about it, me being in the Christian faith, I wondered, are other faiths thinking about this and moving on this? The Baha'i faith says this: know thou that every created thing is a sign of the revelation of God. Buddhism, cut down the forest of desire, not the forest of trees. Islam, have you not considered how Allah sets forth a parable of a good word being like a good tree, whose root is firm, whose branches are in heaven? All of the faiths began to articulate what you already know. You understand that power, but sometimes we, because of our educational acumen and our climb to know more and more, we forget that there is a power and a source that governs each of us. The source that allows you to hear my voice, the source that allows the blood to continue to warm in your body, the source that brought you here safely. Technology can't do that. It's not a demeaning thing about technology, but when they combine, there's power. Judaism, when God created the first human being, God led them around the trees of the Garden of Eden and said, see my works, how lovely they are, how fine they are. Take care not to corrupt and destroy the world. And we just heard from the native community, native spirituality, oh great spirit, help us learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf, in every rock. Shinduism, return the thing that given to the human as a gift nature to the original place. Sikhism, air is the guru, water is the father, and earth is the great mother of all. And the Unitarians, we affirm and promote respect for the independence with all of the existence of which we are a part. That's what this conference is about. And so when we come to do a blessing, it is not just about, let me bow my head. When we were young, we used to say, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. And we just said it. This is not a conference where we just come. This is something that will change your life when your eyes are open and your ears are open and your heart is pricked. So many times when we would be standing with Martin, we didn't know what was going to happen in Alabama, in Georgia, in Mississippi. And I look back now, and I was only 18. I'm 77 years old now. So I've been around a couple of days with some of y'all too. And but we understood that there was power when I could look beyond my own selfishness, my own narcissistic feelings, and hold hands with the person around and touch. Because when we touch, we can agree. That's why the Nobel family is here. And those of you, I consider all of you experts in your own way. But what good is it for you to be an expert by yourself? You have to be an expert when we become together as a tribe and as a team. So will you join with me for the next couple of minutes in a blessing or a prayer or an exhortation or an asking? But remember this, it only works when it goes down into deep recesses of the DNA of your spiritual belief. Whatever your belief might be. Your belief might be, I don't believe in anything. That's a belief. But hold on to that belief. And that's what strengthens you. The only way we will win in terms of cutting back on CO2 in the environment, getting away from the acidity in the oceans. We've destroyed the sonar system of the sharks where they don't know which way to swim, and salmon don't even get out of bed anymore. But every now and then we've got to go down to the belief system. So what I want you to do, I want you to do something very strange. I want you to hold the hand of somebody near you. There is power in the touch. There is power in the touch. Somebody said, I didn't come here to touch anybody. I came here to learn. I didn't come here to reach over and touch. I didn't come here to go through a spiritual exercise. I came here because my computer gave me the audacity to think that I could figure it out. There's power. That person's hand whom you hold right now, do you realize that more people will die this year of not even having been touched? Not having been touched. Almighty Creator, the giver of every good source and being, we humbly come at the beginning of this solution-oriented gathering to ask that your presence would permeate in every thought, word, and deed. We ask that the essence of your wisdom, honesty, integrity, and Transparency will empower all assembled to feel comfortable in seeking global security in the midst of conservative capitalism. In your divine presence, we acknowledge that we must regenerate an entire system which builds walls that have constructed among us to think we are professional silos of mentality. Help us to become one powerful force seeking solutions to climate change and to forgive each other for our negligence in what we've done. God, you told us that if we ask you without doubt or fear, that you would hear our prayers and our plans and would bless our efforts with a unified strategy to empower our movement to save and sustain the integrity of the environment. Now bless every person here. Assist them to put their own agendas aside and help us to emerge from this conference with a blessing and a willingness and a burning to surrender, serve, and seek solutions to stopping the destruction of climate change. Right now, feel the blessings of AREDAY Institute, but more importantly, feel the blessings for you to learn, for you to leave, and for you to live with a renewed sense of spiritual power, to speak truth to the powerful. Throughout this hall this morning, nestled in God's natural cathedral of beauty, we receive this blessing. You feel blessed, feel His power, feel the energy, feel the source that you will touch, not only physically, but let your minds and your bodies touch. If you feel empowered and blessed right now, why don't you let the birds and the bees and the brooks outside know it? Give God a hand clap of praise. Give God, just release your hands now and clap. See, this in the church, we just say give it. He can't hear you. If He has blessed you, if He's hope, you are. This is your moment. This is your movement. This is your time. Stand firm. Do not bend down. Do not break, and do not back up. We are on the right course. We are at the right time, and we will not surrender. Thank you.